We're live.
We're live now. Is
We
that
are,
true?
yes.
Everybody?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Hi, everybody. Just walked in the door. Welcome, everybody. Flying by the seat of our pants, as always. That's right, everybody. Welcome to PM in the PM, another Thursday episode with Pong and Mav in the PM. That's right, where we have new goals set. Folks, that's
New
right. We have
goals.
new goals. No, and I'm not talking about the hype train goals. I'm not
Oh,
talking
okay.
about those. We know what those are
Alright.
like all the time. No. Mav and I are on a course. We're projecting and setting our priorities to spread as much condo around the world as we can.
Condo.
We're
condo kids.
condo. That's right, the condo kids. Let's go. Yes, we are going to spread condo to as many places in the world as possible. So that's going to be the new motivation behind the Fun Speculation Network going forward for the next 10 years. We were trying to put together our 10-year future look at the future, I should say, video. But unfortunately, it didn't turn out right.
What phase of condo would you say we're in right now?
Well, we are in phase 2. I think we've been spreading very good condo for the past 3-4 years now through the Fun Speculation Network. But I think we're in phase 2. We are in expansion mode at this point, Mav. I think that's where we're at.
Okay. That's good to know.
Phase 2. There'll be a slideshow later. We'll take investor calls and questions later after the show. So condo is the word of the day, everybody. And if you don't know what we're talking about, we'll get into it a little bit. There's not much to get into, but we will mention it. Otherwise, everybody, thank you for being here again. Sorry and apologies for the lateness. Work and a bunch of other stuff is crazy. I get tomorrow off, so I had to finish up a bunch of stuff. But then, of course, the non-sunglass wearing idiots didn't help my drive home at all. Of course not. My former street racer self came out tonight. I don't do it much anymore because I don't drive an Evolution anymore, right? When I drove my Evolution, I could make up time like nobody's business. But that's because I knew that car. And the car was meant to be driven a certain way. My current 2018 Honda Civic is certainly not a grocery getter by any stretch of the imagination. And she is very quick, but I don't put her through the test. I like the gas mileage. I like that 40 miles to the gallon I'm getting. Yeah, I dropped that average about 2.5 gallons per mile tonight. So you know what I was doing. I actually cut off an extra 8 minutes dealing and going around and doing what I had to do to get here. So.
I think I know why there was so much traffic so late though there today.
Why?
Well, because I think everybody in Minnesota probably got drunk last night after they had to wash away their sorrows of the Mavs taking game 1 against the Timberwolves in Minnesota. I think that's what it was. You know, the Mavs went to Minnesota. They ended up pulling out the win. Everybody in Minnesota had to drown their tears away with alcohol, so they got a late start to work today, so they had to leave a little late. So the traffic was a little extra bad.
It's possible. Did you see what the Timberwolves did to the world champs at their place? 3 times?
Yeah, I'm glad they did because that means we get to play the Timberwolves.
Okay. All right. Well, just be careful what you ask for, sir.
Okay.
Just be careful what
just
you
saying.
ask for. I know you guys definitely had a good game last night for sure. When it was necessary. Kyrie definitely took on Ant. So, yeah, it was a good game, man. It was a good game. It was a tight game. All the way down, man.
It was.
So, and Timberwolves certainly didn't play their best basketball last night.
No,
but
neither did the Mavs, which is
you could be right. Oh yeah, no, you guys were peak last night. That's like your ceiling is what you got last night.
What?
Oh yeah, ceiling, ceiling right there.
Oh, this next like week and a half or so of conversation with Pong's gonna be glorious, guys.
Oh my God. All right. Anyways, everybody again, appreciate you all being here. We're going to get into the show because we got a lot to get into, but first things first, I got to introduce the man who was just trying to throw some shade the Timberwolves way and the Minnesota's way, the owner of the Fun Speculation Network, at least about 49% of it, because Caitlin is the majority owner. That's right. The one and only Fun Speculation, AKA Mav. Brother, I saw you had a impromptu Mavcast last night, influenced, or I should say, I'd say influenced by, or God, I can't use words right now. Inspired. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
like
that's what I was
like the Mavericks were inspiring last night.
Yes,
Right.
like they were so inspiring
Right.
when they almost gave up the game. And I didn't get a chance to listen to it because my day was way too busy. But I did see that you did that. So I know you've been kind of fired up lately, especially about showcase season starting here pretty soon. And there's lots of good smoke happening there. But what's you been doing, brother? What you been playing, man? I saw you did stream some Hellblade 2. And we're going to talk some Hellblade, so I don't think you have to go too in depth into it because we're going to get into that as a part of the topic. But what you been up to, brother? How you been, man?
Man, I did stream some Hellblade, and I know we're going to talk more about it, but yeah, it just visually and the audio, like this game is like next level on many levels. And other than that, I've been playing just the normal stuff. Balatro. The other day, I had like this glorious like Xbox ecosystem epiphany because I went and I finally finished my Walter White playthrough of Starfield. Then I decided to dive into Forza Motorsport, right?
Wow.
Okay. After it had been updated. See, I was also playing that was the same day I was playing Hellblade. So I was playing Hellblade. This is the stuff I did later that night. And I'm just like looking and thinking about, man, there's all these other games I could play. They're all updated and fresh and keep getting better and better. And I was just feeling really good to be a gamer that's invested in the Xbox ecosystem at the time. I was like, yeah, this is what it's at. Like last week I've been playing Halo. It's like all these games you can just keep coming back to, man. That's what I love about it. And I was kind of having this like epiphany about it. Like,
but man, you hate Xbox.
I guess that's what people say. I don't know why, but yeah, it was just like, man, this is awesome. Like all these fucking great games. Like, and it's cool that because I was playing these I had streamed Hellblade on console. Then I went over to my set at my PC. Then I was playing, finished my playthrough of Starfield on the PC. And then I was playing Forza on the PC because I'd already checked out the update on the console, but I wanted to see it on the PC this time. And I was just like, wow, like it was jaw dropping when I was racing. I was like, oh my god, like this. Even just from when it launched to now, they've made such drastic improvements on that game. So yeah, it's one of my favorite things about Xbox is how these games just keep getting better and better and better. And playing Starfield with the update, playing Forza with the update, and then just playing this visual masterpiece of Hellblade 2. It's like they got games like nobody else, bro. Really do. But it doesn't seem that way if you look at social media and the internet and all that kind of stuff. But we're gonna talk about this a little bit later, Baby Pong, because you said you saw that I was streaming last night.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was inspired by Jez's article a little bit. We talked a little bit about that. We talked a little bit about games media and stuff and what's been going on there, and not just with the Ninja Theory stuff and Hellblade 2, but also the acquisition for IGN, right? And some of the
wait, nobody's writing articles about that. Did it really happen?
No, but they're tweeting about it, about the layoffs. Some of them, but though we know who they blame. YouTube reaction people are taking too much of the mind share.
Well, I did post that one quote from somebody about that. I thought it was hilarious because I said they're scared.
Yeah,
the exact same words, man, that were used for the political stuff and all that kind when they started their whole disinformation fear campaign and said, oh, we got to stop these YouTubers. They just spread false information. We can't let people hear what they have to say because they're not getting the word from us. That's exactly
we have to tell everybody that Helldivers is an RPG.
Bro. Bruh. It's so much fun watching the fucking downfall of this.
It is.
Anyways, we will talk about that.
I was talking about that a little bit, just because people bring it up in the chat. But then we went on this like long journey of Xbox Showcase and the Summer Showcase, and we were going through, and this is kind of happened naturally. We went through and we like had a poll on like every game that could possibly be there from like Xbox first party and some third party stuff. and community voted on all these different games, and so came up with this list. And they said no to several, right? But they said yes to a lot. And another epiphany at the end of this stream last night, Pong, was just the realm that this list is even fucking in the realm of possibility is just nuts to me. That we can actually have something that's fathomably true in any kind of sense that is this good for any platform holder.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go later in the show. I want to go through this list and want to get your opinion and thoughts on it.
I was just going to say, you better give me that list because, I do want to talk about it for sure.
Yeah. We will. How are you, man? How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. Looks like our oldest dog might be on her final days. So we will see. So we're dealing with that one right now, which is always hard, as you well know. I think most people probably here in the chat do, but I'm a big animal guy. Animals and kids, I will weep ridiculously hard over anything that happens to animals or kids. So it is an even natural. She's old. She's going to be about 15 years old. She's, she's a black lab pity mix, and so she's more black lab than anything, but you can see the pity in her a little bit. One of the nicest, gentlest dogs ever, and she's had a nice life. She's been around for a long time. Rachel rescued her when she was just a baby, left on the side of a road in a bag. Drove over 1,000 miles to rescue her, so she's been around for a long time, and especially for Rachel, it's going to be extremely hard because that's been her baby, and that dog has been through a lot with her. So, but yeah, other than that, don't want to bring everybody down, but again, it is something that's
hard. It's hard, man.
Anytime, it's really tough, and obviously, I've been around her now for almost 11 years, so I've been here for a lot of her life too, and so I mean, her and I have been buddies, and it's tough, man. So dealing with that and work, but other than that, just been gaming when I can. It was Ghost of Tsushima, obviously. Been sharing the screenshots. I told you all 2024 I was going to make a concerted effort to share more screenshots, even though I love sharing screenshots. Say that 5 times fast. A lot. Anyways, but I said that was my proposal to fight against some of the negativity out here. So I was sharing a lot of that, loving that game for an Ubisoft open world style game that obviously has, different spin on it with the atmosphere and the samurai. It brings a lot to the table that I really enjoy. I am noticing as I'm playing through it that while I think it should have definitely gotten a higher score than 83 from the critics, I definitely don't necessarily think I'll ever consider it a masterpiece like some people do. It's very interesting. They bring a lot of different things to the table. I love the different stances and kind of how you learn that kind of stuff. And again, the combat is the perfect level for me in that game. So I'm really enjoying that. But man, there was just... It's funny sometimes when you do get into a game that you've seen a ton of people play, and I've watched a ton of gameplay on it and seen screenshots of it, and you start to experience it for yourself, and there's a lot of jaw-dropping moments in that game too. And again, the art style that they chose is perfect. It's beautiful. But then there's other moments where this is definitely a last gen game, right? This was a PS4 game. You can see it and you can feel it and you can tell. But I am loving it, and I think it's a great game. And obviously I'm working my way through that. But then obviously Hellblade 2 dropped. Haven't played it on PC yet, but we'll get into that later. I have not checked it out on PC. I've just been rocking the 30 frames on the Series X for Hellblade 2. I mean, we're going to talk about it and we're going to get into it because there's a lot to say about this game, but I don't know if I'm going to finish this game ever. I'll just be upfront about that right now, and I'll get more into it. It's even worse than the first one for me.
Right. With the oppressive feeling and the mind fucking. Yeah.
The dreams I had last night, I almost uninstalled it this morning. I almost uninstalled it. And I'm not that dude. I'm not usually very sensitive to that stuff, but for whatever reason, the way they do it, and it happened to me in the first one, but man, telling you, after last night, man, I almost woke up this morning and installed it, but I love lots. So we're going to talk about it again. So yeah, I just been playing that as well. Playing still some Age of Empires 4 as well, because I can only play Hellblade 2 for so long before I got to put it down. So then been popping on Age of Empires 2 to kind of cleanse the palate, or 4 actually I should say, and cleanse the palate. They just did another update as well, and just really looking forward to so many more games that are coming out right now. Like we just got some more video, Space Marine 2 in September. That's we'll probably mention that too. But yeah, that's all I've been doing, man. That's all I've been doing. Been hanging in there and getting ready for showcase season. Definitely feel the hype coming up. And we're going to talk about the rest of this stuff here. So, everybody, let's see here. Let's get into this show because we do have a lot to get into. I want to shout out the chat though, because we have amazing people here show up, even though we are late tonight. Thank you so much for all being here and giving us your time. Again, whether it's for 5 minutes or all the time that we're here, does not matter. It still means the world to us that you even come here on a Thursday night, sit and listen to me, Mav, do this shit. We literally have nothing in the DMs right now, so we're going to be flying by the seat of our pants. We're going to be looking for subjects. There's a ton to talk about. That's the good part, so we are definitely going to have a lot to get into, but excuse us tonight, a little bit less unprepared than even usual. Let's see here. We got the one and only Nate Dogg. What's going on? Nate Dogg says, so what? Pong Starfield was practically the last gen game too. Wrong, sir. But I appreciate you, Nate Dogg, for always coming through with that different perspective and different opinion, sir. I know your feelings on Starfield and you know mine. So we just will agree to disagree, sir. Anyways, thank you for dropping in here, Nate. I always love to see you, brother. Snooky Jackson, what's going on? Snooky Jackson, great to see you as well. Ghost Fixter, what's going on? Ghost Fixter, Slimy Mucus. Yeah, everybody, yum, yum. Get some slimy mucus. What's going on? Good to see you in here. Niturnal, what's going down? We got the Big Lou Ravens in the house. Yes, Big Lou, we are going to talk about shocking news today. Shocking news today, Mav. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is real, man. And that's the game that they were hiding for the direct at the show.
What?
I know. Unbelievable,
dude.
Bro. I'm almost speechless.
Wow.
Man.
Really?
Yes. We're going to talk about that as well. So get ready, man. I can tell you haven't been paying attention. Talos Ray's in here. What up? What's going on, Talos? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Attention, ladies and gentlemen. We got to interrupt the chat shout out real quick because it is a big safety concern around here aboard the Fun Speculation hype train. When the speeds start getting a little bit faster, we need to make sure that everybody is watching those screens above their heads, paying attention to the attendants as they direct you. When we get some bags of coal dropped off because the bold alpha wolf pack, the one and only man, came overhead. He had 2 bags full of coal. Mav and I are going to be shoveling that into the furnace. We're going to get this sucker up to a Mach 3.0 to start the show early. Let's go, everybody. 2 more cars added to the mile-long hype train. That's right. Welcome aboard, all you new speculators. Please take your seats. Check those 4-point harnesses and buckle them on down because we don't want you flying off. And don't you forget, everybody, your goal for May. That's right. I've been keeping track. Your goal for May is still 3,950 right now, and you only got about a week left. So let's get to it, everybody. I know you can do this.
950 memberships.
That's right. Keep this show ad-free. Keep this channel ad-free. Hashtag no beans in 2024. Bold Alpha Wolfpack with the easy 10 dunk. That's right. Thank you, Bold Alpha Wolfpack. Appreciate you. Let's get back to these chats. Okay. Well, let's do this. Let's keep up with this real quick. We got the 3-bit member for 35 months, says choo choo motherfuckers. That's right. I forgot to give everybody a choo choo motherfucker. Choo choo. Thank you for that 3-bit. And then, of course, we got the angry hippie. He said, I saw the Bold Alpha fly overhead. He added 2 cars. We had 10 new speculators come on board. But one of those was missing. So therefore, I got to add in a single ticket. And we don't discriminate around here, Angry Hippie. So that's right. Angry Hippie got on the floor. And he did a nice, easy little mid-range jump shot right there from the corner. Got us with that single. Let's go. Let's go. That got us up to a Mach 3.25, in fact. So thank you, Angry Hippie and Choo Choo, motherfuckers. Choo Choo.
Driving down the lane and dunking like the Mavs did on the Timberwolves last night.
There's dunks on both sides, sir. Why so serious? What's going on? Scorpio's in here. What's going on, Scorpio? We got the Magnum in the house. What's up, Magnum? What's going on? Nate Dogg says I will fight Pong about Starfield like Russell Crowe and Gladiator. Yeah. Let's go. Over a video game. Let's do it. Let's get the gladiators going. Let's do this. Angry Hippie says, member for 3 months, says Dallas sucks. Choo choo. You know what, Angry Hippie? Choo choo, choo choo, choo choo, motherfucker. A little extra for you, Angry Hippie, for that. Thank you very much, sir. You are correct, by the way. Masshole 1977. What's going on? Yeah, that's right. Mav is laying it on thick. That's why I appreciate Angry Hippie coming in here. Verg Brizzle. What's going on, brother? Ralski. What's going on? He says, appreciate you, Bold. Alpha Wolfpack. He must have gotten one of those speculator memberships. We got the David in the house. What's going on, David? Great to see you here. We got the Beer Baron showing up, bringing a couple extra kegs for everybody. If you want a little beer, put them glasses up in the chat, everybody. The Beer Baron's got you covered. We got the one and only Ducato, of course, in the hotto. What's going on, brother? Great to see you. Of course, I already shouted out, but we'll get him again. Bull Alpha Wolfpack. He always joins us. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. We got Mr. 7 Digit in the house. How you doing tonight? Great to see you on a Thursday. Talos Ray, what's going on? I might have already gotten you, but I forgot through all the choo-choo motherfuckers. So Talos, great to see you as always. Thank you for dropping in here. The Game Adaption Newscast. What's going on? Game Adaption Newscast. Appreciate you for dropping in here tonight. We got, hold on. I got those people. Now I know where I'm at because I saw Slimy Mucus again. That's a good bookmark. You'll never forget that. You know, I got soul. What's going on? You know, I got soul. Appreciate you. We got the Leonard Herrera in the house. What's going on, Leonard? We got the Dion Hayes in the house. What's going on, Dion? Always appreciate seeing you in here, sir. Thank you so much. Who else? We got the Herd Ethereum in there. What's going on, Herd? Great to see you jumping in here. We got the Ray Oid in the house. What's going on, Ray Oid? Of course, we got Sin in here. And attention, ladies and gentlemen. Attention, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have to do another breakthrough here because, and I didn't even have to look at who it was. I can just tell because I've seen that pick for a long ass time. That's right. The one and only Leonard Herrera. He said, guess what, guys? I heard we just got to a Mach 3.25. That ain't good enough. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get on the court with an easy finger roll layup. That's right. Right through the net. Drop off a bag of coal. And we're going to give you a little extra credit here tonight, Leonard Herrera, because we're feeling good on a Thursday. That's right. So we went from Mach 3.25 up to a Mach 4.0 as we added yet another car of speculators. Again, welcome aboard, all you new speculators. I need you to take your seats. I need you to follow the directions of the attendants and buckle those 4-point harnesses down tight. We are almost at a Mach 5.0, at which time we do close the windows to protect all appendages from getting cut off outside the windows or you just simply flying out the windows because those kind of speeds are dangerous. But right now they are still open for your enjoyment. So please enjoy it while that lasts. But buckle up for your safety. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. Choo-choo. And your goal, everybody, by the way, if you're wondering, 3,900 for the rest of May. You guys got a long ways to go. Let's go. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Who else we got in here? You guys are amazing, by the way. Polly Baba's in the house. What's going on, Polly? Always great to see you, sir. Appreciate you. Got the beautiful Miss Caitlin in here. Miss Caitlin, great job on the thumbnail. As always, we'll always shout you out for doing everything behind the scenes, for tweeting it out, for getting everything done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You are so appreciated, my dear. Thank you. Who else we got in here? We got the Nam Omar in the house, of course. What's going on, Nam? Great to see you. We got the Tando in the house. Kind of like Condo. Condo.
Condo.
Tando.
Tondo.
Cando. There we go. We'll do something like that. Hey, what's going on, Tando? Great to see you in here. Who else we got in here? We got Johnny Retro. What's going on, Johnny Retro? Love the name, sir. Great to have you join us tonight on a Thursday. Appreciate you so much. Who else? I'm going up. I already got, I got Soul. I already got Dion Hayes. Oh, we got the 3-bit, the one and only 3-bit, whose fault it is that the entire industry is collapsing, everybody. If anything goes wrong in the video game industry, just go ahead and make a post and blame 3-bit for it. And you're right. That's how it works around here. So 3-bit, great to see you, brother. Hope you're settling in a new home. Good. Alvin, what's going on, Alvin? Always great to see you. Appreciate you joining the show tonight, sir. Skywalker UAV1. What is going on, Skywalker? Great name, sir. Appreciate you being in here. The Cyber Gunter, of course, is joining us tonight. What's going on, Cyber? The man from the future. That's right. He joins us when he can from about the year 2492. That's right. The one and only lore master Jasper, still doing actually guy in the future, but he's got to come back every once in a while and remind us. What's going on, lore? Great to see you, brother. Miss you, man. Can't wait to get back talking with you, man. Jigga Jay, of course, is in the house. What's up, Jigga? Appreciate you, brother, for always being here and joining the show. We got Lamingo Da. What's going on, Lamingo Da? Appreciate you dropping on in here. We got the Brett Bingham in here. What's going on, Brett Bingham? We got the Jax82 joining the crew. Let's go, Jax82. Appreciate you, man, so much. We got Spitin13. What is going on, Spitin? We got the one and only Wilfrey Rosario joining us tonight. What's going on, Wilfrey? Thank you for dropping in here. We got Free Bear in the house. What's up, Free Bear? Appreciate you. We got the Brandon Martin in the house. What's up, Brandon Martin? Thank you for being a part of the show tonight. Of course, the Angry Hippie man himself, known earlier. What's going on, Angry Hippie? We got the BT Maverick 707 dropping in here. We got the E Ranks in the house. What's up, E Ranks? Thank you for being in here and saying hi. Appreciate that. Scroll down, see if I missed anybody before we
Web
get
Dave's
rolling.
here hanging out now. Relski,
Mr.
Web Waffle.
Dave. I finally got over to the Gamers Council. That's right. Me and Mav had a great show with Web Dave and Retri last weekend. Go check that out. Web Dave, good to see you, brother. Thank you for being here, man. Poison Maniac, of course, is in here too. What's going on, Poison Maniac? Who else? We got Xboxer Mike. What's going on, Xboxer Mike? Thank you. We got the Matt Alexander in the house. What's up, Matt Alexander? Appreciate you dropping in here and saying hi, sir. I think it's Timmy. It's Timmy's in here. I don't remember if I got it's Timmy, but he's in here. Of course he is. He's here for every show. We appreciate it so much. Thanks.
I like it. No matter whose chat I go and stop in or whatever, like to say hi to the community or the show or whatever, and I'm like, hey, what's up? It's Timmy's always there, without fail. Without fail. The man is a man of many shows.
Prince Green. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the IGN monopoly at this point. We will talk about that. Thank you for dropping in here, Prince Green. Appreciate you so much. But Mav, is there a particular point you want to start? Should we just hop into Hellblade 2 since we kind of both held back during what we've been playing because we've both been obviously playing Hellblade 2?
Yeah.
You just want to hop into it?
Let's just hop into Hellblade, man. Let's hop into hell.
Because, I mean...
Did you see Digital Foundry's take on it today? Not that
I saw clips of it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw clips. I don't mind Digital Foundry stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I don't want to did you see what they said too much? Because I just don't like a lot of what they say a lot of the time. So when they say the good thing, I'm not going to overdo it, But
they do what they do, and it's the responsibility of the people that run with certain clips from Digital Foundry to set a certain narrative. Now, do I always agree with them? Of course not, but they are who they are. They do what they do. They're very good at what they do, whether you agree or disagree. Do sometimes their opinions kind of filter into some of their so-called strictly analysis? Yes, it does. But at the end of the day, they serve a purpose. It's the people that just run with the shit. But anyways, it doesn't matter. If you don't like
Digital Foundry, by IGN too, right?
Yes, they are now owned by because they were a part of Eurogamer.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. So let's get into Hellblade 2, Mav. Like, there's nothing like a highly expected game from a well-respected developer that has been hyped for 6 years now or so to come out to bring out all the loonies, to bring out all the clowns, to absolutely once again prove without a doubt something that all of us on the Fun Speculation Network have talked about at one time or another. I have, if you go back through our history, you will find me having Pong rants on a consistent basis about this, that the review system is absolutely broken, that the review system has been broken. And again, you know us, we say, screw the review system, play the games for yourself, play what you want to play, judge it for yourself. But we know that's not how the masses work. That's why they are still important. That's why they still do them. But without a doubt, Hellblade 2 this week, hats off to Ninja Theory, showed exactly why that system is broken completely. And I am calling for, once again, I don't have all the answers, but I am calling for a reviewer certification process. And I am calling for a standardized system which is objective. You can have a subjective part. There's always been a subjective opinion in most reviews. If you go back through the history, if you go back and grab some of those gaming magazines long before the internet, but they also had the majority of the review was objective. And they had a grading system that accounted for that objectivity. We don't have that anymore. The vast majority of reviewers are completely 100% subjective. Every single article that they write is an editorial. They do not do journalism anymore. They do blogging. They do personal blogging. Hellblade 2's reviews, again, I'm not sitting here saying you have to like them. I'm not saying you have to like it. I'm saying you definitely can have a disagree. But a fucking 45 is a fucking broken game. That has never changed in the history of fucking video games. Okay? Yeah. Never has that ever changed. A fucking 5?
There was always reserved for like the trash of the trash games, you know. Like 7 was like kind of like an average game, like pretty okay or whatever.
We
you know,
played some 4 and 5.
6.5, you know, 7, you know.
So
8, good. 9, great. 10 is like, whoa, holy shit, this is amazing.
I mean, good.
Yeah. That's what kind of way it used to be. Anyway.
Used to be. Yeah. So there needs to be a standardized system, and we need to bring objectivity back to the review process. And there needs to be one group of reviewers who are in charge of creating the official scores for games that are certified, because they themselves have gone through a certification process and agreed to uphold objectivity and agreed to a new grading system which would allow and account for all the different types of games that we now have, all the different experiences, genres, developers, types, everything. And I think it can be done. Again, this industry wants to grow up. This industry likes to think itself now, because it makes more than any other form of entertainment in the world, as something special. These journalists in this industry have not earned it. And I'm not saying 100%. There are some who are very good at what they do, take it seriously, and do actual journalism. But the vast majority of these journalists don't. They don't. They don't care. Some of them don't even like gaming. You can tell. And that's who's got to be weeded out. And that's whose voice has got to be stopped. Second of all, I'm getting the bad out of the way, because this is what usually Mav and I do. I'll let Mav take over, and then we'll talk about the actual game itself and what we enjoy. But I'm getting the bad out of the way because I needed to get on this rant, because I've been sitting here watching this all freaking week, and it's been bugging the hell out of me again. Second of all, if I'm Xbox, legit, if I'm Xbox, this is no joke, and I don't care how it looks, I'm not giving review codes to anybody who uses a 5-star system anymore. If they do not have quarter stars, half stars, and full star, 3/4 stars, and then full stars, so basically a 0.25, a 0.5, a 0.75, if they do not have those in their system, you don't get review codes. And I don't give a shit. I mandate that if you want a review code, you change. You either go to a 100-point system, or you go to a 10-point system, or you allow for quarters, 50s, or 75s. Because right now, a lot of people have a nice, easy time knowing full well that their 3-star counts on Metacritic as a 60, a 6. They know full well that their 3-star, even though there's a whole lot of room in there, that 3-star can be very close to an 8. Yet for Metacritic, it's just a straight 6. And because these devs' livelihood, sometimes, many times in their contracts, are contingent upon good review scores, because I know that the masses out there looking for games go to sites like Metacritic, or their friends do, and their friends tell them, oh, it got this score, it's not worth our time or your time. It's a shit game. Because I know that, I am 100% in the right if I'm Xbox to do that. And I don't care if people say that that's tipping the scales. The scales are already fucking tipped. Okay? They're already tipped because you've got all these different review systems and Metacritic does what it does. So I would mandate first to Metacritic to change how they do that. But then again, I would tell all the reviewers out there, let me go take a look at your review scores. Oh, I see you guys got that 5-star system. You got, like 3.25 stars. You got 3.5 star, 3.5 stars. You got things like that in? No, just 3 or a 4, not in between. You're not getting a review copy. Go buy your own fucking copy and review my game because you're going to hurt us. I would not do it ever again. But I'm not even going to talk about the clown show. I'm done. I'm done with that whole mess that it is. You all just keep swimming in that fucking energy, and I hope you all get what you deserve from that energy. And I laugh when you guys bitch and cry when that shit comes back on top of you. So I don't even care about you guys anymore. We know it's going to happen every single game. I think at this point, whether somebody wants to admit or agree or whatever the case may be, that there's an Xbox bias sentiment kind of throughout the industry in certain ways, whether it's here in this community or whether it's in journalism, I really don't care anymore. If I'm Xbox, I just know it exists and I just push through. And again, I do what I can do to limit it. That's why I said I wouldn't give it out, those review copies, to any of those people who still score in that manner. And I would be loud about it. And I would say, this is why. Change your score system. I would be out here doing interviews about the review process, and I would certainly start pushing for a certification process to make this more an actual, real review process instead of just a bunch of people with opinions. And that constantly, for some reason, every Xbox game that's brought up, there's at least a couple reviewers who have to mention that Microsoft acquired these studios. Why is that a part of any fucking review? It has nothing to do with the developer. It has nothing to do with the fucking game.
But it's almost in like all these, dude, about, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And it just
and it showed up and showed up on Kind of Funny. It showed up on Kind of Funny where Greg Miller, again, I'm done with him, right? I don't care. I used to like the guy. I respect what he built, being a freaking gigantic nerd. And what he did to build Kind of Funny, hats off, Greg. You deserve it. You built it from the ground up. Don't like how you've treated some of your ex-employees. And I certainly don't like what you do now. But he could not, even though he's been doing this for how many years? How many decades now has Greg been on? Almost 2 decades. Been around the gaming industry for almost 20 years now. He can't even have a conversation about Hellblade 2 without bringing up Xbox and how it's not a W and how they really need a W when they're talking 1000% about Hellblade 2. Separate subject. Even he, after all this time, could not help but bring that into the conversation. And Snowbike Mike, shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. One of the few times I've ever seen anybody stick up to Greg. One of the few times I've seen any pushback on Kind of Funny. I've seen back and forth. I've seen a little bit here and there. I've obviously seen Paris bring up good points before and all that kind of. I'm not saying it never happens, But this time, you could feel it. Snowbike was like us a lot of times when we're talking about this shit. He had a little rant going in him. Like, really, Greg? We're back here again? And how is this not a W? The game sets the bar in multiple ways. This is exactly why you went and purchased Ninja Theory, was to get a game like this. How is this not a W? And you saw Greg backpedal. But again, he couldn't even control it. Again, it's got to be expected at this point for every Xbox release that there's going to be some level of this. Now, the levels may vary depending on what game it is, who made it, all that kind of stuff. But there's going to be levels to this. Starfield is still getting fucking ridiculous articles written about it. Like, bro, dead game. You guys said it doesn't matter anymore. It's gone. It's over with. Starfield is never going to be anything. Why are you guys still writing articles about it? Why? Again, this is something that Xbox, Phil, and his entire team, I'm sure they're conscious of it. I'm sure they're aware of it. I would stop doing deals with IGN. I don't care what kind of draw that they have. I don't care. You're off on your own now, guys. You don't need them. You've broken away from what has been set as the historical standard for how you do business in this industry. You have broken away from most all of that. You are charting your own path. Get rid of this garbage. This garbage parasites that latch onto you, that use you. But when compared to others, the two main others in the industry, you guys just always get a little shafted. You guys get a little bit of the poison. Whereas the other two just get mostly glowing all the fucking time. I'm done. Mav, go ahead. Kick in here, brother. What did you think about the reception to Hellblade 2? Mostly like the again, we knew this was going to be divisive. Let me say this real quick to me. I said before it even launched, because we were kind of talking about the impact of Hellblade 2.
Yeah.
I said this was going to be a divisive game. I said it had the potential that there was going to be people out there who simply just did not like it because we knew it was going to be more of Hellblade 1, right? So I'm not even saying that. Again, I get it. There's some people who don't enjoy Hellblade 1, right? That's cool. Again, not everybody has to like every game. But push that aside. Again, when you're writing articles and say, I love Hellblade 1, and I was really looking forward to Hellblade 2, and then you go on this huge expose and you say, at the end of the day, the only thing I could say is, I don't know why this was created.
Yeah.
Ignoring the fact that you pointed out that it had done everything, for the most part, in your eyes, better than Hellblade 1. But it just, again, Mav, like Starfield, wasn't the game I was looking for. 20 points off. 30 points off. What?
Yeah.
What? Okay. All right. Now I'm done. So go ahead, Mav. What'd you think about all this shit this week, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that the few negative over subjective people that are journalists or games media, right, always have this ability, especially when it comes to Xbox, to overshadow all the other positive, right? Because you can have like 20 different 10s and like 20 different 9s, you know? You got 20 different 8s or whatever, and then you have like a 45, right? Or like 50s, a couple 60s, or what it's a couple 70s, and it's like those things cause the game in the mind of many to be like, this is a fail for Xbox, right? This is such a bad thing. Like another chance for W, another trip over the rake. You know, it's like, and it's mind-boggling. I honestly, this time, I really thought it was not going to happen. I really thought, because the feeling that we had, everything that we knew about how they were pushing things forward in these categories, I thought there was enough pride and integrity in the people to actually give credit where credit is due, right? To not be able to be so subjective about your personal preference and feelings when you're reviewing something that's meant for an audience, not for your own self, that's the thing. That the integrity of actually standing behind grading something and judging something for an audience, right? For your viewers, the integrity would shine through to actually be able to give credit where that credit is due. And that's where we lost the plot with games media and in general. And this is a conversation we've had many times. It's not just about this. I brought it up, Jedi Survivor, right? On the opposite side of the spectrum, right? We brought it up with Hogwarts Legacy, right? It's not just about Xbox. This is about gaming in general and games media.
No, yes.
It is a popularity contest. It is a engagement click farm contest. The one person with the games media that we were talking about before that said that they blame YouTube reactionists for a lot of this because they're having to compete. Well, how about this? Games journalism and games media, you were supposed to be the objective ones that stand behind that badge of journalistic integrity to be able to remain objective and be different than the YouTube reactions. That's what made you separate to begin with. Instead, you try to be us to compete with the mindshare. That's not what it's all about. Just do your fucking job like it always used to be. And this isn't just games media, it's all media in general. Objectivity is fucking dead. Now, the question is, does it matter to anybody? Because whenever we have this conversation, you always get the people say, oh, it's just subjective. It's video games. It's just subjective. It's video games. Subjective. It's a subjective thing, right? Video games always used to have a different level because there is a lot of technological aspects to it when it comes to quality, right? There's different things that are more measurable when it comes to quality and obvious when it comes to quality. And when a game is, by many standards across the entire board, even the people that knocked this game and gave it a 45 because I don't like it, admit that this game pushes the industry forward in multiple categories. But instead of giving credit where the credit is due, the scores and the feeling that goes into these reviews is simple as, I didn't like it. I liked it. You could have had 3 different words and made it up for your score, because ultimately all those kind of reviews do is serve the writer. And that is not what being a reviewer is supposed to be about. If anybody cares if I specifically 100% love something, that's cool, but it doesn't mean you're going to. If you review something based on objectivity, you give credit where credit is due in different categories, and actually can look at this about it's a very well optimized experience, especially on console. Graphics like never seen before, and audio design like never seen before. It has a lot of artistic integrity where they actually saw through their vision, whether it's necessarily for somebody personally or not. It's a $50 game, not a $70 game, is one thing as well. And all these other things. Instead, this is the metric that it seems like these games are getting weighted against. It's Xbox's next big chance. Did they hit the home run they needed to? Well, let's play this game and find out. It felt a little flat to me. 45. Oh, by the way, it also pushes the industry forward in graphics and audio. Never seen something that looks or sounds this good ever. Make that make fucking sense. I don't have a problem if somebody's like, hey, I loved all these things. Great. I'll give it credit for all this stuff. Hey, this is amazing. Push it forward. It fell flat with some of the combat. I expected to be better, or this, or better, be specific. I think I'm going to give it like a 7.5 or 7 or whatever. That cool, right? Cool. But the clowns like to give it like a 45, and you want to talk about Starfield. Dude gave Starfield a 4 because he said that Bethesda doesn't like trans people, and it was weighted in meta. Make that make fucking sense. Same thing happened with Hogwarts Legacy. And we give credit to these reviewers for being objective when it's just personal bias and feelings towards companies and towards products. It doesn't make any damn sense. So Pong, you're 100% right. There needs to be some kind of reining in on this. And, I blame Meta for not doing a better job in deciding which which outlets have integrity and which ones don't, right? The fact that they still put Metro reviews in their metas, and when they're like fucking clown show of journalism, it one of the worst out there, period. And admittedly so. It's like a smut magazine. You might as well go get the National fucking Enquirer and have them read reviews from them. To actually have that kind of shit weighted in a score where you know that this is kind of the de facto measure of a game's quality. Now on the flip side, it's still reviewed extremely well from the most people, and it actually got extremely high scores, and most people actually had that journalistic integrity in this. So I'm not attacking every single person out there. But holy shit, if you're gonna come out there and say this is not a win for Xbox, then that means Helldivers 2 wasn't a win for PlayStation. That means Ghost of Tsushima wasn't a win for PlayStation. Because if all that matters is that 9-0 plus on the fucking scoreboard of a game to you to measure whether a game actually has an impact and success, then you've lost the plot of ever what it fucking means to be a gamer in the first place. Two problems here. It's the mindset of a lot of the media that refuse to give credit where credit's due just because of a fucking score. And it's the games media in the second place that actually sabotages the score by allowing fucking idiots to be able to actually run the show. Just have a little bit of pride and integrity in your work. Like people used to be. That used to be, and across any media, any medium, across anything, the hallmark of being a good reviewer was the ability to remain objective. That's the fucking point in the first place. So when you come out there and say it's all subjective, we might as well just be reviewing movies or TV shows, songs, right? Because really there's not much difference there between games, right? Is that what you're saying? Right? For me, there's always been a huge difference there. And there's a lot more to actually go and look at, pick apart, and judge in a video game versus those other mediums. So I don't know, man. It's just the way it is. However, I think ultimately the game achieved what they wanted it to, and it set the bar in numerous ways. I have not finished it yet, so I got to get all the way through the game. But from what I've played, it is like, wow. You know, like it is like that wow factor moment where you play something and be like, I have not experienced this before. This has not happened. My eyeballs have not seen this on a screen before when I am playing a video game. It is to another level now. That is what they strove to do and is what they achieved. And damn if I'm going to let them not get the credit they deserve for that. Because that is a lot of effort and work. And if everybody says we haven't experienced anything next gen yet, we haven't experienced anything, where's the next generation games? Where's this? Where's that? Right? You see it with the graphics and the audio of something you've never seen before. And now it's like, well, you know, not a win. I don't know. I think there's a lot of factors that go into what makes a game good or great, and that's going to be the subjective part for everybody, right?
The feeling the game gives you, gives you, and whether or not you enjoyed it is subjective.
100%.
Okay, whether or not the story hit you or impacted you is subjective.
100%.
Of course, the rest is objective.
Yes.
Technical, that's all objective. That's what we used to get in reviews. Again, I'm not saying you have to love the game. I'm not saying that, but objectively, if you were to score this game objectively, and I'm just going off of their words, and you broke it down into graphics, audio, gameplay, yada, there is no way the average, like how they used to do it, even with you saying I didn't really enjoy this game, would come out to a 45 or a 5 or a 6 because those at least 2 to 3 categories would be 9s or 10s. Okay. There's objectively no way that you take off when you have great. Okay. Not good. That you're going to say overall, the game is a not good or broken or terrible or don't buy. That's not objectively what's going to happen. You're not going to dock a game 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 points because you overall didn't like it when it nailed a lot of the aspects. You're not going to do that's. It's unbelievable. But again, that's why you and I agree on this, Mav, is because, again, and you said it perfectly, these writers are writing for themselves now. This is the exact opposite of what the purpose of a review score is. You don't write for yourself because you are, as a professional journalist, are supposed to understand that there are going to be people out there who do not think like you. There is not a bunch of duplicates of you reading your review, all nodding their heads and going, yeah, that's what it is. That's not what it is. So you're supposed to present them as a journalist with neutral information concerning the objective parts of the game, and then give your final say with your personal opinion as it was for you personally. But objectively, somebody could read all your highlighted points and say, God, well, I know he didn't like it, but damn, I like what I'm hearing here. I like what I'm hearing here. I like what I'm hearing here.
Maybe that'll be something I actually like. Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's the way it's supposed to be. But unfortunately, if you read these articles, that is not even close to how they are written anymore. It is not. And again, I'm not saying across the board, we don't deal in absolutes. It's not 100%. There's a lot of people out here who still do it right. But again, when you read an article and you just are going, okay, well, okay, so tell me about the actual fucking game instead of your feelings about Microsoft acquiring things or about the studio or about whatever the nonsense is. That's not a review. So yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
I think overall, like, being an Xbox first party studio is like going to be one of the hardest things for any of these companies, because they literally have so much more stacked against them because of how their games are judged and graded and weighted is different. And like Major Nelson said this before a while back, right? And he was right. Like they're not on an even playing field when it comes to this kind of stuff. And it's obvious. Like when you have games like so here's an example, like Last of Us Part 2 come out, missing the multiplayer mode, right? This is gonna come later. Everybody, okay, whatever. Yeah, fine. 10s across the board, one of the best things ever you've ever seen before, right? Oh, where is it? We still don't know where they finally canceled Factions, right? You're like way later after they completely fucked over their own consumer base and stuff like that. But like, hey, it's a masterpiece kind of game, right? But then a game like Halo, right, doesn't have Forge mode and split screen co-op or online co-op at launch, right? Holy shit, this is the worst thing that's ever happened before in video games, right? Like we got to write every article under the sun about how this is the worst thing that's ever happened before. And you could see those things reflected in not only the scores, but in the writings about the game afterwards for a very long time. I understand the two different kinds of games, right? But this happens time and time again with numerous things. It could be third-party games. It could be any kind of thing. You could have a game like Jedi Survivor come out and it'd be unoptimized out the ass and really have horrible issues at launch. And be like, hey, they said they're going to fix it. Everything's good. Right? But then you have something like an Xbox game have similar kind of issues at launch. And it's like, wow, another fucking huge fail for Xbox. Right? It has got to be the most damning hardest thing to do to be a fucking Xbox first party studio. And the pressure of perfection that they have across every single metric, even personal enjoyment fun factor for every single reviewer out there. Otherwise, they're going to give you a 45 despite your technical achievements. Like, you got to make the fucking game that's perfect for every single fucking person out there. And that's the expectation, it seems like, that people have on Microsoft and Xbox first-party studios. And maybe it's good that we have this pressure because they keep trying to deliver, but ultimately we see this, and the sad thing is that it actually has the negative impact on the success and the sales of the games. And when you have a launch like Hellblade 2, right, and you have one of the biggest channels out there, one of the biggest games media publications like Kinda Funny out there, and we're talking about it, and they bring back up again when is Xbox going to get a win? When is Xbox going to get a win? When is Xbox going to get this? When is Xbox going to get that? Why did they trip over a rake again? Why does this always happen? You know, instead of talking about the actual merits and the things that they achieved in this game, that has that impact to keep it down a level like they want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the worst thing about games media to me when it comes to Xbox, at least. And it's the subjectivity that we talk about. The bias is prevalent, and I don't understand the different judged and weighted scales that people have and the pressure that they extra put on Xbox, that everything has to be this masterpiece that is the best thing ever created, right? As opposed to other games get weighted. Is it a good game? Let's judge it on its own merits.
And judging a game for what you want it to be versus what it is another absolutely horrific thing that has happened to journalism, games journalism. Like, I don't, Mav, you know, I've said it before. I'll probably never do professional reviews because I just don't finish games, right? I'll give you my impressions, right, of what I've played. You guys all know this. I'm straight up about everything. If I beat a game, I'll tell you I beat a game, and I could potentially review it. Hi-Fi Rush wasn't for me. Rhythm-based game, got frustrated with it even on easy, right? But if I was a paid professional journalist and I was handed that copy, right, I could have played through that game. I could have beat that game and provided a review. I would never have given a Hi-Fi Rush a 6, a 7, a 5, a 4 because I didn't like it. Because it wasn't the game what I wanted. Because they made it rhythm-based instead of just a hack and slash. I never would do that. I, even as a non-professional, could legitimately step back and looked at the objective marks of a video game and said, this is a great experience. And there are going to be those of you that read my reviews that are going to absolutely fall in love with this game. Because that's the quality that the game is. And I could have scored it in a reasonable manner, taken off maybe a half point because I didn't like it, because it wasn't for me, maybe a half point. I don't even know if I do that to games. Because as I look at games, I can step away and say, I understand why people really love that game. Like, I get it. Like, there's no question about it. Why can't professionals who get paid to do this do that? Yeah. Why can't they pull themselves away? And again, this isn't about, everybody always comes, you just want everybody to give great review scores to the games that you want to give. That's not it. It's reading these I actually read the reviews. I actually go in and look for the bad reviews, and I will read a handful to even more, up to 12 of those bad reviews, depending on the game, to get the general consensus of what it was. There have been plenty of scores that are bad, that are very fair, that are very well written, that are they explain exactly what caused it to be this. But usually within that, where they're marking down the game, is a part of a bunch of the objective metrics that you can use to look at a game are not good. They go in and find problems objectively with those parts of the game. It's not just their opinion, but they break it down. But with Hellblade 2, that's not what I was seeing. And to be real too, this is why I said there's got to be a certified review board that does all the games. I will go on, call me conspiracy theory for all this stuff. I don't care. I lean into conspiracy theories. I love them. So many have turned out to be true. I will always believe that there is a good portion of the gaming journalists who don't finish the games, number one. that play every game on easy, number 2, and never admit it. And number 3, absolutely skip through every cutscene. Don't listen to the story. Don't get into the narrative. Don't find any of the emotion involved in some of these games, at least the games like this that have emotions. I believe that they legitimately hate reviewing games, and they do it for a paycheck, and they cut every single corner, and it shows up in the reviews, and it hurts the video games, it hurts the developers, and it hurts the consumers. I legitimately believe that there is more than a handful of reviewers who do this out there.
It's like for me, it's like when they're writing these reviews, and you can see it permeating through all of them because they keep mentioning it. It's like they're not judging Hellblade 2 for being Hellblade 2.
No,
they're judging Hellblade 2 for being the next Xbox first party game.
Yes,
and that is. It's almost got to be like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place for Xbox, right? Okay, so do we force these studios to do like what all these people are saying every game has to be now? Or do we let them create what they want to make? No. Because that's what the whole vision was about, right?
Yeah, that's where we are.
Right.
That's what everybody clamors, that they want all these different kinds of diversity of games. They want all this different stuff, and let the studios be studios. Oh man, I hate it when big corporations buy them out and then they tell them to go make Call of Duty and they put them all in the sweatshop. Most of you fuckers don't want anything new. And you guys won't ever get outside of your usual to try anything new anyways. You all want the same next Call of Duty. You all want the next Fortnite. You just all sit out here and talk like you think better than that, but you don't internally. You really don't, because when push comes to shove and something like this shows up, it's not God of War.
Yeah.
Where's the combat? Where's the combat?
Yeah.
Like, they kept showing us that they did all this training. I don't see it. I push one button and go through all the combat. What? This isn't a game. This is a tech demo. That's the other one this week. Tech demo. The Matrix.
Did y'all play Hellblade 1? Nobody was saying that about Hellblade 1.
No. The Matrix demo is a tech demo. Do you guys not? There are visual novels that's an actual game genre. You guys do understand. Visual novels are an actual game genre. Rhythm-based games where all you're doing is tapping buttons to the beat of a song that you had no part in the creation of whatsoever is a genre. This, tech demos come with full-fledged narratives, deeply written, masterfully acted. Since when? Since when did tech demos come that way? No, it's not the game you want it to be. It's not God of War. It's not another Sony cut and paste, third person, over the shoulder, narrative driven game. It's not that. You guys wanted that.
This is the same thing that's going on with Avowed right now, right? With a lot of the conversations about after they showed it off for the first time. For me, I'm like, wow, that looks like the next Obsidian great RPG, right? Because this looks like the kind of games that they make. But now that they're first party, no, it's like, oh, it has to be groundbreaking in every single way, and it has to look like the most graphically appealing thing ever. It has to be the biggest open world ever, instead of being an improvement on their past kind of experiences that they were praised for. Like when they released Outer Worlds, right? Was there like, oh, you know what? I don't really like the color scheme. You know, the art style isn't really realistic enough for me. When they showed those trailers, everybody's like, oh, that looks cool. What is it? You know,
there was some people who said that, but yes.
Well, but then
I get your point.
And then it like did amazing and got great reviews, and people were liking it, and it's seen as a huge success for Obsidian, right? Now they show Avowed, fantasy setting, but a lot of similar aspects to the way it kind of looks. The art style, direction looks better than Outer Worlds. It looks like they're pushing things forward for Obsidian and doing more, right? But then it's like, well, you know, I expected more. Like, in that expectation, I think just comes from the fact that it is now owned by Microsoft and that they are owned by Xbox. so it's first party. So it has to be a tentpole thing instead of Xbox letting them create the games that they want to make, which is what they said they were always going to do, right? Now they're going to have their showpiece games, and for me, Hellblade 2 is a showpiece game. It's just interesting that we live in this world where the comparisons are always made to things that these games are not meant to be. That happened with Starfield. It's happening now with Hellblade 2. It's going to happen when Avowed drops later this year, and it's also going to happen when the other games launch. And it's more so than anything else, it's a detriment to the actual developers that are creating these games, right? And the studios.
Correct. Correct.
And like maybe the overall success that Microsoft can achieve and stuff with the vision that they have. So it's got to be a huge battle. However, I see Hellblade 2 as a win. Like as a gamer, for me, if we're judging it for what it is doing for gaming and what it is achieving, much like the first Hellblade was praised for all of this and seen as a win, even though it had the same meta, it was seen as a huge win. Like, oh, Ninja Theory, look what they pulled off. This studio, like, wow, they like never seen a game. This was the conversation back when Hellblade 1. Like, you guys got to play Hellblade, right?
Yeah.
Now we're in this one. They pushed all of that forward, all of it forward to another level. Like, achieved really what you could have seen as like maybe what they could have dreamt of achieving with the first Hellblade, right?
Correct. Yes.
And now it's like, well, you know, I expected more from Xbox first party.
Yeah. Should have been a bigger experience.
Yeah. It's just weird, man. I don't know. But it is what it is. And for me, it's a win. So
It is. So let's get into it. Let's get into the positive. We got all the negative out of the way, folks. Again, this is what we do. If you're new here, you know, Mav and I, we don't always have rants, but we do quite frequently. And we try to get the bad stuff out of the way usually first. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Hellblade.
Can we get those super chats real quick?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got super chats. Yeah, I did have those up too. Go ahead. You read them off. Go.
Alvin hit us with a $5 super chat. Says, I can accept an 81 as the score. Good score. But when I see these fraud 45s mixed in, I know it should have scored higher. That's bullshit. 100%, dude. 100%. That's what it's all about. 5s and 45s and even 6. You know, if somebody really just hated their experience that much, I can see it. It's really even hard.
If we did an average with the objectives, I still feel it would come out that even those people, Matt, objectively. It would be so high scored in so many different areas.
I really thought that this one was going to go past all that. And
that's why I said high 80s. I said high 80s with a chance to hit 90. Yeah. And that's where it probably should have wound up if everybody had been
I honestly think if it wasn't if this game was not an Xbox first party studio game, I think it would have hit. I would have hit.
Call me here again. If this is on PlayStation, this is a high 80, low 90s game, guaranteed. And I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to argue about it. We will just instantaneously agree to disagree. Okay. 1000% believe beyond a shadow of a doubt. If this dropped as a PlayStation exclusive day one, this would have been high 80s, low 90s score game.
Even if Ninja Theory was independent still and just released this as their next big project, and it took them all these years to make it. And one thing, they wouldn't have probably been able to achieve this level. So
how many millions of dollars did Microsoft give them for their
but that if they were somehow to have achieved this level of fidelity and everything that they achieved, and they were independent still and released on multi-plat and all that kind of stuff, or they signed some kind of exclusivity deal with PlayStation or whatever like they did in the past, you know, it would, I think 100% you wouldn't see something like a 45 there.
No, never.
Because that person would be like, I'm going to look like an idiot if I actually put the score out there because of what's in front of my face.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
Did you get Angry Hippies?
Not yet.
Okay. You do have it though. Okay.
Yes,
I just want to make sure.
Angry Hippie with a $5 super chat says, how the actual duck quack does a sequel release. Complete. No bugs. Visually stunning and plays for the most part the same. Get a 20 to 40 point difference.
Magic.
Yeah, and games, another thing that bugs the shit out of me is the optimized games that come out polished get no fucking credit.
Nobody's talking about that. I've seen some people bring it up like, why aren't we talking? Why is there no articles being written about bugs? Because there are none. Because this is a fucking really optimized game. They took a lot of time to polish it. But no credit.
It is but they knock certain games for it when they have bugs.
They don't knock other games.
And they don't knock other games.
And like I said, it's not just Xbox. Like you started your full speech. It's not just, we're specifically talking about Xbox here because it's Hellblade. But we've talked about this in a lot of cases. There is this certain bias in the industry for certain dev studios, certain publishers, certain games that just get free passes all the fucking time. Like clockwork. And others that get absolutely blasted into oblivion the minute that they have 1/10 of the bugs of one of the other games that they forgave for. It's out there, man. The bias is out there. It's apparent. Anyways.
Yeah. So when we tried to do our review scales, like when we were starting to do it, this was my idea. We got to have it like to where there's different categories and all that kind of stuff. And we tried to do it, and it actually worked out. Like it's just, it's a bitch to fucking actually do, and I don't really have much interest.
Oh, you got to do work.
It's work. You got to do it.
Yeah, it is.
We tried it. It worked out, and I thought it was fair. And a game like this, even so let's say we put our minds into Jasper. Jasper would be like 10 out of 10 for graphics or 9. You know, Jasper probably like 9 for audio. He'd probably be like gameplay. He'd probably be like 6.
Yep.
Right. It's just him.
Maybe.
And he'd
6 or 5.
Yeah. Who knows? Right. And then there was a couple others, and then you average all those out, and it'd probably end up being somewhere like an 8. You know,
or a 7.5.
Like exactly. Not a 45. Right. That's the point.
Fuck no.
Right.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
Did you get Brett Bingham's? Yeah, Brett.
Getting it now. $5 from Brett Bingham says, Mental Illness Awareness Day was the same day Hellblade 2 launched. Coincidence that these ponies are acting like this? I think not. Yeah. I think it's interesting. I don't want to say too much about that, but there's a lot of just general problems with games media in general. Flat out. I have seen some on the PlayStation side come out in defense of Hellblade this time, which was like, hey, cool. These are even they're better than some of these games media, right?
Correct.
So, like, it's just.
I mean, there are real gamers on both sides.
Yeah, 100%.
There are legitimate real gamers on both sides, even if they do have a PlayStation show or they have an Xbox show, like you, Mav. You have multiple shows that focus on Xbox. It doesn't. You're a gamer at heart. That's the thing that people just don't get. Like they don't understand that it's either good or evil, black and white. It's been that way for.
Yeah, or you got to stand on one side. It's not. It's not about that.
This is games. Yeah. This is games, bro. No, there are no sides in fucking games.
Do I want to see PlayStation announce some amazing games and an amazing roadmap and an amazing pipeline? Fuck yes, I do.
I want Nintendo to. Nintendo, got me right now.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
I want all of that shit. Yes.
All right, let's get into the good. Mav. Let's get in the good. We got our rants out. Hellblade 2. I'm going to let you start. Okay? I'm going to let you start on this one, and then I'll jump in afterwards. So, Mav, obviously, Hellblade 2, I don't know how much you've played. Do you know how many hours you're in? Or
I'm like probably about 2 hours. I'm still, it's maybe a third of the way then, fourth of the way through.
Yeah, fourth of the way somewhere.
I'm pretty, how you're doing. But I've experienced like several fights with combat puzzles.
Yeah.
Graphics and different settings. Like it's just fucking.
Now, are you playing on PC?
I tried it on both. The one I hear, I'm gonna have a criticism for the PC version right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Give us the option.
Go ahead.
Give us the option to turn off the fucking
chromatic
aberration thing, motion blur, that kind of shit, right? I always like the options all the time. I just give me the options to turn it off. I know there's a mod out there for that.
Yes, there is. Steel's using it, and it looks glorious.
Yeah,
if I do wind up playing on PC, that will probably be the first mod I've ever downloaded since I started on PC.
Yeah,
I will download that mod. Steel has some amazing screenshots. For anybody who doesn't know, there's already a Nexus mod that takes away the black bars, that gives you full screen, that goes ahead and gets rid of the chromatic aberrations filter over the top of it. It does a bunch of other shit too. I can't remember what else it does. But it makes that game, again, some people are going to like it because of the setting, because of the atmosphere. I understand why they do it.
Yeah.
It gives a certain feeling to the game, right? Like there's some people out here saying that the 30
it's their vision or whatever. Yeah.
Vision, but it also fits the game.
Right.
But then when you take all that stuff off, holy shit.
Right.
Holy shit. Like some of what Steel showed me, I'm like, yo.
I was looking at Steel shots and compared to what I experienced on PC, I was like, which looked fucking incredible, mind blowing on the PC. But like seeing his shots, like I'd need to do that, you know? And I don't really like installing or downloading mods too much. Like if they're not like official within the game and easy just to go click on and check, you know? But this might be one I do as well. But yeah, but besides that, like I mainly played on Series X.
Okay.
And fuck, dude. I for my first impression, because people in the chat know I'm a frame snob, right? When it comes to 60 frames. Much like Starfield, when I was playing this on the Series X, I had a smooth experience. But like this was even smoother. Like the frame rate on this, and maybe it's because of the motion blur and all that kind of stuff that they implement in there, right? Mine fucks me to where it feels a lot smoother than it should comparatively to all the other 30 frames games that I've been trying to play this generation.
Let me jump in and ask you this real quick too, Matt. Let me ask you this while you're on that real quick, because I've decided for myself that it actually is because of how good the graphics are. Because my mind is tricked into this being as close to an actual interactive movie that I've played ever, that my mind actually registers this as more of a movie when I'm playing it. So therefore it just feels better.
It's more methodical because too and stuff, you know?
Right. It's just weird, but go ahead, continue.
Yeah.
It is.
So I was playing, I was like, man, this is like the smoothest fucking 30 game I've ever felt before. And that was my initial reaction, because I was kind of thinking about it. Well, here we go. Am I going to enjoy it on Xbox, or am I going to end up having to play it on PC? And I'll tell you, if you have an Xbox, you will have no problem, even if you're a snob like me with frame rate, enjoying the experience on console. And I will say it is optimized just completely crazy. It's like, it is just butter, bro. That game, for as good as it looks, which is mind-blowingly good, like the transitions from cutscene to like in game, like this is the first game where I'm really actually playing, and I'm like, if I didn't realize I was playing and actually doing the buttons, I could be watching a cutscene, right? I could be watching a cutscene with live actors, like portraying these characters, and the transitions are so smooth. It's just like fucking seamless experience, dude. It just takes you from one moment to the next, to the next, to the next. There's nothing on the screen, you know. Everything is just within the world itself, and the character and the detail. I'm just constantly looking around at different elements, like the ground, or the buildings, or just the detail on Senua herself, or the Dylan who ran into early in the game or whatever. And I'm just like, it was not Dylan. His name's Dylan. I can't remember the fucking guy that we ran into in the beginning of the game. Anyway, you run into these people, and I'm just like, fuck. Like there's a level that we have achieved now in gaming that was never here before when it comes to visual detail and facial animation. The closest I've seen to this would be Death Stranding. Death Stranding had this level of insanely detailed graphics and really good looking world and characters that was kind of next level. And maybe Death Stranding 2 will get kind of close to this now. But I think everything is going to be measured against what Hellblade 2 just did. I think everything's going to be measured against this game, because it not only does it have the fluidity and the seamlessness, but it has that extra level of detail. Now, then here comes the sound. The fucking sound, bro. Like, they've done something here that no other game also has done before. The way, like, and I agree with you on this, Pong. Because I didn't really have too much of a problem with the first game, but getting through it with that stuff. But for some reason, on this one, Man, it was starting to really fuck with me, and I had to. That's why I haven't finished the game. I had to stop. I was planning on streaming longer when I was doing my initial play. I just had to stop because it was just fucking too much. Like it was constant. It was louder. It was more all over the place. It was more negative. It was more present. Like it was just constant. And if there's anything like I would say is maybe tone it down a slight notch just to make me feel a little bit better when I'm playing the game, right? Because it is that damning of an experience having those voices in my ear constantly like that. But that's what they're trying to go for. So I'm not like it's not really criticism. It's just like, man, that made me have to stop playing for a little while, right? And like maybe that's what they want. But yeah, it was next level when it came to that stuff, and it gave me more of those feelings than I got in the first game. The other thing I say it is a lot like gameplay style wise and direction of the game like Hellblade 1. Like there's not much, like you're going along the path, you do your fights, you go into your puzzle area, then you go on and you do more fights. Then you just kind of, it is thematically, I guess, game design wise, kind of set up the same. A little bit so far. Now I haven't gotten through the whole game, so I don't know how much they mix things up later. But to this point where I'm at now, if I was to say a slight criticism would be a little bit too much, just painting the same gameplay systems as the first game. It would have been nice for them to mix it up a little bit more so far. But like it could change based on what I play later in the game. But other than that, man, like the combat feels like it's been revamped and feels weighted and heavy, and I love how they do the combat. I know that some people don't because they want God of War and all that kind of shit, right? Or whatever. Yep. But for me, it's a cinematic experience when you're doing the combat, which is different for this game comparatively to most. That's what makes this game unique, right? That's what makes this game different, is that I'm in this like action scene committing the actions that, and it's like it's so immersive and such like a cinematic experience when you're in a fight that you haven't really experienced before, except for in QTE events. But this is not QTE. This is all about timing, right? And it's very cinematic, so I really appreciate that for this game. But yeah, like I said, I'm really early on. I have like some like slight criticisms here and there. Overall, like they push things forward so much in so many ways that I'm just really appreciating what they've created to this point. I'll give more of my thoughts when I finish the game. I'm going to play more tonight. And so maybe we'll have more thoughts tomorrow night. But yeah, ultimately right now I'm just kind of like in awe for the most part, and kind of just taking it in as an experience. Trying to let myself play the game and get the experience that the developers intended me to have. Not thinking about, well, man, it should have been like God of War, or it should have been like this. Like I'm just playing the fucking game, and those are the only critiques I could have right now. But they're so small, like it's kind of what I expected. This is what I expected the game to be.
Yeah,
for the most part. So
we knew that this was what it was going to be, man. We knew that it was going to be more of the first. We had heard about it. Listen, when they first announced Hellblade 2, and they were doing their expansion, and obviously it was during the pandemic, and I had first started podcasting. We were starting to talk about Hellblade 2 and about what Ninja Theory could do. I've been consistent with this because Ninja Theory has not only just made this type of game, right? People know that they've made other games that are more, more actiony, right? We know this, right? And the Devil May Cry, anybody? Like, okay. Ninja Theory can do a game like that. Yeah. I said that I was hoping that they were going to take Senua on a bigger journey and that it would be a bigger world. And I was hoping that obviously the combat would be more, that they would have some big battle fights. And I said that from the beginning, right? But when I found out it was going to be more Hellblade 1, right? I was like, oh, okay, we'll readjust my expectations, right? Readjust my expectations. Okay, I'm getting more Hellblade 1. Cool. All right. I hope someday that Ninja Theory is, or desires to make a bigger game. I really do hope they do, because I think they would do fantastic. I've said for years now that I believe Ninja Theory could be Xbox's, or is Xbox's, Naughty Dog. I think they absolutely could tackle bigger games and, make them more mainstream, right? They've done it in the past. They can do it again. And I think with everything they learned, they could do something really cool. But if this is what they want to do, right? If they want to be the boutique dev, like I call them, that's cool with me. I came into this game knowing what to expect, that it was going to be more Hellblade 1. As you all know, I finished about 85% of Hellblade 1. Again, I could not play Hellblade 1 for more than 30 to 45 minutes because the voices get to me. And again, I'm not the sensitive person about that stuff normally. I think it has to do with the atmosphere, and it has to do with the interaction, because I am playing a video game. The same reason why I can watch horror movies, but I can't play horror games, right? There is some of that. I also am one of those people who can, in a very serious game like this, a very dark game like this, I wind up, while I'm playing, putting myself in the character's shoes. I wind up role playing along with the character. As weird as, I don't know, maybe there's some other people who do this. I wind up really connecting with a character like Senua. And so, like, all of a sudden, the emotions are a little bit more real, and what's happening is a little bit more real inside me, right? While I'm playing. What they did with Hellblade 2, and the reason why I think it's even more impactful this time. And again, this is not a negative. And if I was reviewing this game, I would not mark this as a negative, because this is a me thing, right? But this is having more impact on me because this time around, that atmosphere is even more oppressive. It is even more visceral and personal on a level. Like, everybody talked about how they really loved the personal journey of Senua on the first one. And a lot of people I did see, critics wise, feel that was lost in this one. To me, this is even more personal, because now she's gained some control, but she's still dealing with her psychosis, right? But now she's on a mission and a purpose. And yet she keeps getting sidetracked by certain things, right? That pull her back to the old ways. But she is now on a mission with anger and emotion behind her, setting out to do something while battling her own battles too. This is much more personal. And for me, this is the impression that I get. I've been describing this game as nightmarish beauty when I make screenshot posts. To me, that's what this is. This is a waking nightmare, which is what I think a part of what they're trying to express with somebody who does have psychosis, that has to deal with this, that waking moments dealing with this stuff is going to have that kind of effect on you on a regular basis. On top of the fact that this is 10th century Iceland, right? This is brutal times on top of it, where every day is a struggle to survive. Like, we have no concept of that in any form in this life right now. Okay. We have zero in this day and age. This is part of what people really dealt with back then. All of that wraps up into what they're presenting me here. And as somebody who may not finish this game, as somebody who may have to put this game, again, I can't express to you guys enough. I dream a lot, but my dreams are fantastical dreams. I don't have reality-based dreams a lot, where I dream of real people. So I don't get nightmares per se. Last night, I woke up literally 4 or 5 times last night, and it was crazy shit that was waking me up. And I know it was because I played Hellblade 2 right before I went to bed. I know it was. That stuff to me is, I'm like, okay, back off. And I also believe in the spiritual side of things more than some others. I've experienced some things in my life that has really brought me closer to that side. So a lot of this stuff kind of feeds into that as well. It's not the same as playing high fantasy and playing around with a sorcerer in Diablo 4 or whatever the case may be. This is gritty. This is real. This is some deep shit we got here in Hellblade 2 that Ninja Theory is trying to present. Then you throw on top of it, Mav, obviously the graphics. This is by far, and I again, hands down, Cyberpunk 2077 on the PC, fully maxed out with ray tracing, is an absolutely drop dead, realistic. They've actually got mods that are called realistic mods for Cyberpunk that change the lighting and effects on the cars and the bikes and all that kind of stuff. If you watch one of those videos, if you squint real hard, it looks like you could be watching somebody who is, running a GoPro or something, right? It looks that good. So there are games that certainly have pushed this. But I'm going to say that, like Mav, this is the first time where I legitimately have had two spots in my playthrough, and I played through, I'm probably 3 or 4 hours, but a lot of that is in Photoshop or photo mode. And that has allowed me to play longer than I normally would because I'm in photo mode so much. It takes me out and I get away from the voices and I get away from the atmosphere, and I'm just in photo mode. So it's helped me there. But there have been 2 moments where I legitimately did not do anything on the controller because I thought I was still watching a cutscene. And I thought it was just Senua in one of those quiet moments, kind of just relaxing or catching her breath or whatever else. I did not realize I could move. That cutscene that I had just been watching, or that little action scene, had ended, and I was now back in control. I've been fooled. I can't say any other game has ever done that to me in my entire video game playing life, where I have been fooled like that. Because I was like, oh, okay. Boy, she's taking a long time to catch her breath. I'm like, wow, okay. Is something else going to happen here? What's going on? And then I happen to flick the controller and I'm like, oh, we're not in a cutscene anymore, are we? Okay. All right. Let's get back to work. These graphics set the bar. We talked about this forever, that Ninja Theory was going to set the bar graphically. We knew that they had a good shot. Now, can Coalition come along and do this with UE5? Listen, if Coalition creates a Gears 6 game with all the action, with 60 frames, with everything that we come to expect from Gears, if they create a Gears of War 6 that looks 2/3 as good as this game,
bro,
I will have my mind blown. And I think that they probably are going to. But this game sets the bar. Ninja Theory wanted this. Again, Microsoft invested in this. They did it. There is no better looking game, straight up. Digital Foundry confirmed it today. They all agree. There is no better looking game than this. There is no game that has legitimately blurred the lines between cutscene, gameplay, and what that actually is. Screenshots, photo mode, because you can do it in any moment, whether it is a cutscene or whether it's actual gameplay. They look exactly the same when you go into photo mode.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been in them. They take the same damn pic. There is no change in anything within that shot. Ninja Theory knocked it. This is a grand slam. Okay, this is an absolute grand slam for them.
They're going to win a lot of awards at the end.
They better. Again, we're going to get to that. They better. I better not see this. The weirdo scores, those reviewers. I better not see that filter into the Keeleys. Okay. Otherwise, I'm gonna be back on here ranting again. This game has to be up for Melina Juergens. If she's not up for best actor, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's over with. Anyways, so the graphics, they set out to do this. They did it. Grand slam. Audio. I can't say any more than Mav did, outside of the fact that even if you just beyond the voices, take out the voices, the landscape, the land, how it speaks to you. Again, it's like being out in nature. The little sounds that you hear if you're paying attention, and then they throw in the creepy shit on top of it too, not just the voices, but they throw in some background stuff that if you really got it cranked on your headphones. Again, I started looking around in real life because I could not tell if it was the headphones or if it was something going on. And then you get like a thunderstorm. I've heard a lot of great thunderstorms. There have been plenty, obviously. There's a lot of companies that go out and record thunderstorms and do all that kind of stuff for their games. We've had a lot of great thunderstorms. Nothing compares to how this thunder rolls across the land naturally as it would, depending on what kind of land you're looking at, kind of cliffs you got around you, all of that stuff affects it. I've never seen anything like this. Never. And let me go back to the graphics real quick too. Closing in, when you go into close-up facial shots, blood, water, liquid running down the characters, never been done better in any game. This is UE5 being used to its fullest potential right now. Nothing better. The audio matches the graphics. This is a grand slam. I have, again, even if you take out the voices and what it does to me, if you just talk about me just being a walk around, listen to the characters talk to each other, all that kind of stuff, never heard a better sound design than I have in this game. And I've had a lot of great sound designs. Again, Starfield's got a great sound design if you pay attention. Fantastic sound design. They spend a lot of time in there. This game's the natural, the real life. Nothing comes close to this that I've heard so far. Gameplay wise, it's what I expected. This game is a narrative focused game. It is telling a story. Whether or not you like the story, subjective. The game is presented to show Senua's struggles, to show her in this world, now with a goal, meeting certain people that are going to be either helpers or they're going to be preventers, on top of the supernatural shit, the weird shit, all that kind of stuff, the voices, all kind of, that's what this game is doing. The acting is off the charts. The narrative has me locked in completely, like, again, because I am empathetic towards Senua, because I actually feel a connection, which, again, is rare for me. I mean, I can feel connected in certain ways or understand. I've been moved by game stories before. Senua was on a different level, right? So I'm feeling her, and I'm feeling her going through this. So narrative, so far, from what I've played, beautiful.
You see a different side to her this game
completely,
too, bro.
because she's different now.
Yeah.
Right. She's, again, that's the part. Again, no spoilers. We're not going to talk about any spoilers here, but that's the part that they're trying to get through, is like, she has reached a different maturity with her psychosis, and yet it's still a problem, and it still is something, but she has a bigger goal that's pushing her forward. Right. And it's interesting to see her this time around, having that knowledge behind her, what she learned from the first trials that she went through in the first one, and coming out of it on the other side, a different, stronger person, and yet still obviously massively flawed. That's what's so cool to me about this game. That, again, in the story, I really want to play through just to see the story. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it, man. Combat. First one, it was fine. Again, it's nothing. Again, parry, dodge. You know me about those things. This has this. It's pretty forgiving. The first one was pretty forgiving. I will never play these games on hard, obviously, so I don't know what it's like on hard. I play them on normal. But I like the upgrades and the animation work that they did for anybody who is going to try to tell you they don't feel or see a difference in this combat. They are flat out being intellectually dishonest with you, or they never actually played the first one and they have no fucking clues to what they're talking about. This is absolutely on another level when it comes to all of that. And that goes back to my original when I was talking about much more personal. Again, no spoilers. Some of the fights, though, I have a hard time getting. Again, this is a dude who's played brutal games like for all of his life. Okay, not the horror stuff, obviously, but again, again, I played so many freaking violent games that nothing affects me anymore. These fights, some of these fights that she's in, because of how it's shot, because it is shot in a cinematic experience with movie camera setups, right? They do this on purpose to give you, it blends seamlessly into the action. It never gives you necessarily a bad camera angle, but the way that they shot these fights and what happens in these fights and what she has to go through, because she's not really a fighter, like per se, she's not a trained warrior. I mean, she's learned some things, obviously, but she's not like some of the enemies she's going up against. everybody remembers like when they rebooted Tomb Raider and when Lara just got the shit kicked out of her. Like everybody was talking about that when Lara came back. Like we weren't used to Lara Croft just getting the shit kicked out of her environmentally and enemy wise. This is on a times 100 to me because of who Senua is. And bro, I had a hard time. I'm not in one of the early fights. I had a hard time finishing the fight. And it wasn't because I was having difficulty. It was because of what I was feeling and seeing and going through with her. I had a hard time. I was like almost getting sick to my stomach. I was like, yo, okay. Like, look.
Yeah, it's
so
crazy that games can make you feel that way though, right? It's what they
yes, it is. It is, Mav. It is what they set out to do. And I know people have said this about like games like The Last of Us. I have absolutely Last of Us 1. Absolutely had emotional connection, right? Joel, Ellie, the opening scene. I cried the opening scene. I don't care. Still one of the best opening scenes of all time to a game, hands down. I can tear up right now if I think about it a lot. Love the opening scene of The Last of Us. Sets up everything. That's why I hate number 2. That's why number 2 doesn't exist in my book because they took all that away. Anyways, I've heard people talk about The Last of Us like this. I've heard people talk about many different games like this. It's very rare for me to have this, but this is absolutely what they wanted to do, Mav. Again, we knew that from the first one. They did it with the first one. Like you said, you're feeling a little bit more this time around because I do think that they applied everything they learned from the first one, took all this new tech and really spiced it up, really added to that oppressive atmosphere to where you do feel the weight that Senua is carrying around with her and everything that's going on. But the combat itself, I definitely see the improvement. Again, is it God of War? Is it an action game? Is it Devil May? Of course it's fucking not. That's not the game they're fucking making. They're making a narrative game with combat sections that have meaning behind most of them. It is not just, oh, we got to throw in some combat here. There are actual meaning to the combat that she's going through, at least the ones I've experienced so far. And the animations are ridiculous. The finishers that she now has available to her when you get an enemy close to being down or whatever the case may be are unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm flinching as she's doing. Like, love that as well. So if you guys aren't hearing me, I love this game. Is it too much for me? Too intense? Yes, it might be. I haven't decided yet. Still haven't uninstalled it. I haven't played it on PC yet. Maybe 60 frames will give me a different experience because some people say that takes away some of the cinematic feel, right? And kind of takes away from, this might be the one game out there where 30 frames is like preferable because of everything that Mav talked about. For a lot of people, that might be the ultimate experience. Maybe the 60 frames will make it more gamey, quote unquote, to me, where maybe it's not as bad for me. I don't know. I'm probably will check it out on PC. But overall, Ninja Theory,
they've elevated.
Elevated everything, but they had a mission. They knew what the mission was. They lost their leader. They stuck to the same mission no matter what at the end of the day. And they absolutely 100% have completed the mission with this game from what I've played so far. This is why Microsoft and Xbox acquired Ninja Theory, Colin. Okay? This is why they acquired them. To make a game like this that stands apart from everything else. And again, I will say it. Some of us, a lot of us, want diversity in gaming when it comes to different experiences. I don't want everything to be the same. Even I would say I don't want every game to be a Bethesda open world RPG. Okay? I want different experiences like this to come along. There are only so many studios out there with the know-how, with the resources, right? With the talent behind it to be able to pull off a game like this. A handful maybe that can pull off a game like this and put it all together and have it come out optimized in 2024, to have it come out basically bug-free as far as I'm concerned, out the gate. This is why they went invested in Ninja Theory. This is why